and welcome to the next installment of the Time Machine Project. I'm your host, Thomas Galvin. In this episode, we're going to be going over the final detailing of the dish, which is going to be the main focal point of the Time Machine itself. As you remember in an earlier episode, it started out as a satellite dish. We've since cut it down, smoothed it out, and got it ready for all the final details. So sit back and relax, because we've only got... Holy! We gotta get moving. Yeah, it's almost Halloween. So, yeah, let's get this thing rolling. Enjoy the episode. Well, it's time to focus on the actual design and the artwork that's going to be on the dish itself. So what I had to do was figure out how I'm going to lay everything out as far as the little little pegs, which are now all complete and all cut out. All 365, all sanded and taken care of. Now, Don Coleman did give me a little nudge in the right direction. He told me that there's not 365, but actually 364, because 4 is, that number can actually be divisible by 4. I've already filled in all the holes with my Bondos. Everything's all pretty. Now, to figure out how I was going to lay all this out, what I did was I created a template, a 1/4 template to be exact. And on this template, I was able to figure out the dimensions of course, 1/4 of 4.5 feet. And what I did was made basically a basic compass. To do that, found the center point, use the pipe, the 3/4 inch pipe that I'm going to be using there, and that actually gets held in like that. That now makes a perfect 1/4 of my pattern. And I had to line up all the holes where I'm going to be gluing these pegs down on. And to make my compass, I just used my wire again. Mounted it on the steel pipe. And just used a pen. That pen I was able to mark out all the points along here in a nice perfect circle here. So I would get my measurements and then just go ahead and mark it on here. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taping down one side and figuring out where it's going to be in a corner. I've marked out these notches, so I have this line here and 1/4 away the other line will be taped down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up and then trace out all these little holes where I'm going to be gluing down the pegs. Alright, so let's draw some pegs. Let's draw some holes. Okay, I'm all done marking out where the time pegs are going to be going. So each one of these circles I'm going to be gluing down my dowel rods. And I'm just going to go just like so. I'm going to be using a basic wood glue for this because it holds like anything. Good strong glue. And then I don't have to worry about anything after that. I'm just going to dab it in the glue and stick it on like so and let Mother Nature take its course for the rest of it. Once it's all glued on here, I'll let it dry for a good 24 hours. And then I will start priming it and painting it and getting it ready, because everything that I've seen shows that the pegs are the same colors as the dish. So it's all going to be one shade of copper. So with that in mind, I'm going to start gluing. You know what? This may take a while. Why don't you come back when I'm done? 361. 362. $363 and $364. Done. Okay. All right. Well, the dish is fully coated with time pegs. We're all finished here. I'm going to let this glue sit for a minimum 24 hours, and then it's going to be time for priming and then painting copper. So, like I said, all the time pegs are the same color as the dish, so we'll be painting that all copper. So, join me in the next day or two to do the painting on the dish. So, till then, see you outside. Well, as you can see, the dish is prepped and ready for painting. I have all the final details glued on, all 364 time pegs, the molding on the inside around the outer edge, and of course the rivets. All of this, of course, is styrofoam. This is foam board, and these are 1-inch diameter smooth styrofoam balls that I cut in half and glued all the way around. Now, to make sure that they don't dissolve upon impact of the spray paint, I've coated everything with a coating of Elmer's glue. It gives a little bit of a seal, and I don't have to worry about the spray paint eating away the styrofoam when it becomes painted. So we should be ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and do a first coat of black, and let's see how that looks. Okay, a couple hours and 6 cans of black spray paint later, the dish is primed. So now it's time to go ahead and start figuring out how I'm going to be painting the dish. I had a couple ideas. But I thought I'd go with the traditional copper instead. So my next step is go ahead and painting the entire dish, a good coat of copper, front and back, and then I'll go into the details for around the outer edges and the molding portions of the dish. So let's get started. Well, that's it. I'm all out of paint. So, here we are, one painted dish, front and back, just to let you know, even though you can't see it. So we're going to let this dry for a while, then I'm going to bring it back inside, and then it's going to be time to do all the detailed work. We're going to be painting all the ribs a different color. We're going to be doing all the stenciling for the fleur-de-lis and getting it ready for the final touches. So here we go. One dish, almost done. So we're doing the final touches, final detail work on the dish. My wife Jessica's helping me out on this one. As you can see, we've got a good head start here. We're using a stencil that I created from the 1/4 stencil that are duplicated all the way around. And just stamping out, we're using the brown paint. And we're on the last one. So we gotta get this in place. Homemade foam brushes, just from regular foam lying around from previous costumes. And the dish wants to move on us. Okay, here we go. I'm not really concerned about getting every last nook and cranny because I can go back with a finer line brush and do the finer detail work. So just getting a really good, hopefully first time rough stamp out. And unfortunately, you really don't know what you get until you pull the paper off. Okay. 2, 3. All right, that bled like a bitch.
I will fix it in post.
But we're gonna fix it in post. We got a unique way of fixing it. Since we spray painted, we got a little extra spray paint. We spray paint into the cup. And then we just line it up better and we clean up all the edges that way. So it's the same color, you barely know the difference. So the small fleur-de-lis is all the way done. We got a bigger pattern to do. And got get that stencil out. So I'll be right back with the other stencil. Okay, here's the other stencil. This is just 1/2 of the big stencil. So we go ahead and we're going to stamp it out on one side, let it dry for obvious reasons, and then flip it over. The way I make sure that it's centered is I got the curvature of the center piece, the center flange, and the angle against one of the ribs. So it just sits right here, up against it, and then we can just start go ahead and stamping it out. Okay, that's it. All right, and that's how we do it. That's one side done. We'll let that dry, clean it up, flip it over, do the other side. So we're going to do this all the way around the dish. So we got 5 more times to do this. So I'll tell you what, look for the finished product.
Hi, we've completed, several hours later from when you last saw us, we've completed stenciling the fleur-de-lis 360 all the way around the dish. We moved on to the larger stencils 4 times over in the middle, and they came out a little rough in some cases. Sometimes it bled. The stencil was very intricate, so sometimes the detail didn't come all the way through. So at this point, I've been designated as the detail girl. So I've got the copper and the brown. I'm going back through, particularly on the 4 stencils, the larger ones in the center of the dish, making sure they're as crisp and all of that detail comes through. So I'll be here probably a few hours putting the finishing details on the dish for the time machine. This will take a while.